This conference will now be recorded.
Let's go. Very down.
It seems, hello,
Yeah.
hello, Monish, it seems that has changed the meeting ID, but I think it's perfectly worked for us. So not required to change or make any changes. I have asked not to cancel the session, so we'll continue and go ahead with the existing session. Maybe tomorrow
Okay.
or day after tomorrow, we'll connect it from the new one. So no
Okay.
problem. First topic, we'll start looking into the closer look of the business, high-level business analytics. So Um, okay, in this session, we are going to explain some of the key questions you asked in the earlier times. It's like you are interested to get to know around the day-to-day process of the business analytics, and so let's. I'm going to explain some of the key questions which you have around business analytics and help you to get to track with the understanding of some of the core principles behind with this emerging field, which is increasingly important and crucial, and especially when you work with when you work with a proper access with a proper company who has the right process, and it will help you to understand the project management sort of capabilities when you uh, where you might be working or on developing new products or applications or services, offering services, software services, or discovering what the needs of client be in regard to a new project that should take place. It's like some of the key questions what we seek to accomplish through this some sort of tasks. Furthermore, other titles associated in the other topics would be what are the other associated titles BAs are called. So, and what other capabilities aligned with some of these roles, some of the business analyst roles, and what are the additional roles and responsibilities of business analyst analysis. These are the areas we will be looking into, and what skills you should have in order to succeed as a business analyst, and as a business analyst and doing its related task. Also, how business analyst will relate to a project. So these things, let's get into look into it. So then, okay. First, as a business analyst, we begin by determining a problem or identifying the business needs. Oftentimes, this may already be done in some capacity by by the other team of clients place. So like sometimes they might try to fix the issue. Only if they are not able to fix the issue, perhaps that thing will be outsourced to the new team. It's like oftentimes, most of the times, definitely already be done in some capacity what they can do. Perhaps we have noticed that there is a problem. It's like the first thing in business analytics is determining the problem. So,
Yeah. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Nana. Okay. You. Okay. Oh, oh, sorry. It's like this. Look. Look. Look at me.
So these are the proper initial ways how a business analyst role works. It's like as a business analyst, you have to be determining the problems and identifying the solution needs. So the reason why the client or the customer outsource a project is they are unable to deliver or they are unable to handle it. So as a business analyst, you have to look into the problems, what is creating. It's like you have to differentiate what is the problem exactly the team has, or the opportunities, and it's like not or, it's like and the opportunities to fix the issue. And you have to identify what is the gap in. You have to understand the gap between what problem they have and what sort of solution you can provide. It's like the very beginning of the step is determining. You have any questions?
No, no, no.
And
So
then the first
basically,
ask is
educating the needs and transforming them into solutions, right?
exactly, yep. Identify the issues, identify, suggest them the right solution, identify and recommend a viable solution to meet their needs. And then once after recommending the solution, you have to elicit, document, manage. It's like stakeholders recommends to meet the business objective and facilitate implementation of product and services. These are the basic first steps involved for a business analyst. So business analyst toolkit involves having three different types of knowledges. One is analytical skills, technical skills, interpersonal skills. So these are the areas a business analyst should be mandatorily aware of. Technical skills, it's like in technical skills, it's like you are not go through the full area or inside it. You're not required to go in a deep dive of the issues, but at least on an overview, you should be able to explain or follow the technical procedure involved in the project. Then analytical definitely at the moment it's the one of the important thing which is picking up very fastly. So definitely analytic is very highly important. It's one of the major trait definitely the business analyst should have. The third one is, out of three, I would say interpersonal is the most important of all three. So it involves like negotiation, explaining things, communicating about political awareness. When you when you offer a solution, uh, you have to know, is that particular solution really relevant to you, not to deviate from the solution point. It's like if you're offering a, definitely there will be a resistance coming from the client. People do not like the changes of suggested by any new people or any new company. Though the client or the manager may prefer to outsource, still implementing such kind of change or new thing to to the company will be coming up with a lot of resistivity. There will be other team who will be opposed with the new project or the solution which the other company, the vendor is providing. So interpersonal skill is more important to coordinate between both client team and the production team. So this is about business analyst toolkit, business analyst life cycle. Let me try that. When I had a slide, I'm just looking for it. I think some of the. it's rather than looking for slide, I will try to explain. The business analyst life cycle is, I'm going to explain the first and the final job list of works the business analyst will be looking into. So once you assign the work, you have to look for assess the needs for that, either for the company or for that particular service, or for the product, or for the development scope. So the first steps, the list of steps involved in a business analyst lifecycle are: assess the needs, plan business analysis, elicit information, develop requirements, monitor, control requirements, evaluate solution. Though in the very beginning of this session, the very first class, we did went through this topic, but just I will try to relate a real-time example with this process. So the first step is assess needs. So it's like the moment you are assigned a job, you have to look into the what is the exact needs. Try not to deviate from the work which they have given to you. In case if you are offering the solution, try not to. It's like you shouldn't be the solution shouldn't be, though some solutions will be definitely good, but you have to the solution should be, it's like manageable with there's an it's like in case if the example, if they are using another software, recommending moving from existing application to new application is one of the tedious and hardest job. The reason is they have purchased a software which has been properly used, and more than the cost involved, it is there are tons and tons of definitely there will be at least hundreds or tens of people who will in the same organization who will be using it. So migrating from the existing software, it's like offering solution, anything related to migration, it's a very crucial thing. And try not to deviate from the solution. That's one of the first important things. And understanding what exact needs, what exact thing they require is another crucial thing. Then planning business analysis. This work involves interviewing the stakeholder, taking information from the other people who are working in the job. It's like understanding or getting a high level recommend is so easy, but you have to stay in the process, get to know what's exactly happening. You have to be more familiar with the process. Only then you will be able to suggest them the right solution. It's like understanding the process is is the second important step in this process. That's planning business analysis. So you have to, first thing is you have to interview with the people who are involved in that in the client's operations. So only then you will be able to understand where they stand, how you can give them solution, where they lack, what are the what are the challenges they face. And then after collecting enough requirements from the client team, then elicit information, then develop requirements. Once after the requirements are properly developed, or either through development of requirements involves multiple documents. The first business document is a vague document. It shouldn't be so specific about the functional part, and then coming up with the technical documents like FRD documents, requirements document, user stories, or the other process of develop requirements. And monitor control requirements is another most crucial thing. Have to be parallelly monitoring whether are they traveling in the right path which you have already suggested to them as per in the document. Try not to deviate from them, even the technical team shouldn't be. After this step, monitoring and control requirements, the final thing is evaluating. When you deliver it, I have to sign off by making sure, double sure that the recommend which you have collected from the second step is properly matching with the delivered product. And this is about evaluating the solutions. So make sure that definitely any company, when you go for an interview, the first question would be, what were the roles and responsibility you handled during the time of your previous job, or what roles you can handle as a business analyst. So this life cycle is one of the most important thing. Assessing the needs, planning business analysis, eliciting the information, develop requirements, monitor, control requirements, and evaluating the solution are the five different areas or six different areas which any business analyst role will be definitely working. For example, I will try to relate a real-time example here. Okay, so in recent times, it's like I was assigned a work where in my previous company, it's like they delivered a product. It's like there was a menu called report. It's like it's a compilation of the happenings with that product. It's a what do you call casino type product for American firm. So
Okay.
it's like when they it's like we were offering a software for them. It's like it's more of a report how many people though a casino doesn't require an algorithm, still a report has to be collected. How many people are coming, what is the minimum number of bets they are placing, how many times they are placing. So it's more of a crm in getting information related to the poker. So
Okay.
it's like the tool was able to deliver the uh, tool was able to work as expected, but the issue was around it was generating sometimes for certain cases it was generating duplicate records. So in our QA alone, it's like in the production there were tons. It's like close to millions of data were there, but in the QA we had close to 2.7 million records. Each record will be having close to 70 plus columns: name of the customer, time of the entry, like a minimum bet they have they invested, and there will be plenty of other gambling tools is available in the particular hotel or in the premises. So poker is just one whole floor where there will be plenty of games divided into. So my just like that they assign me asking me to identify the junk data or the cases where duplication of a record is happening. This is the basic requirement which I was assigned. So I have to, though QA team will be having some information where the duplication of record will be a record is happening, but I cannot just go as per the document which they delivered. I have to do my own way of research. I have to test the tool in my own way. Only then I'll be able to understand what's exactly happening. So accessing the needs, in this case, accessing the need is the crucial thing. This is just one example. Sometimes you'll be asked to improve the performance of the particular product. The product, sometimes you'll be asked to manage the concurrent number of users. That the tool may be able, the tool currently the tool is capable of handling close to some 100,000 customers concurrently. What if the customer wants to make sure the product can be concurrently accessed by from 200,000 people at any given point of time? So during some, I think Black Friday or the Boxing Day or during the Christmas Day, there will be a chance the website can be used by many people. There's an easy chance if it exceeds more than 100,000 people, definitely there will be a drop in the speed of the website first, and then definitely the website will be going down in after some time. It's like we'll be assigned to improve the performance of a product. We have to analyze what current infrastructure they are holding, where they are hosting, in which particular place they are hosting. If I'm going to give them a solution of moving from traditional hosting to the cloud hosting, I have to come up with, there will be tons and tons of there will be multiple cloud vendors available. If I am suggesting particular vendor, say Amazon Web Services, I have to explain them what are the services they will be enabling in the Amazon Web Services with the cost, what would be the migration time involved, so what would be the additional services they should be enabling, like SSL certificate, like queuing engine, so plenty of things, processing engine, and what sort of server they should be going, should the database need to have a separate processor called RDS? RDS in a traditional server, one server will be handling all sort of processing, database processing, performance, everything will be handled by a single thing. So what advantage they'll be having, what challenges they face, what would be the duration when moving or when implementing the migration. So these are the areas where BAs should be looking into it. So you are not going to migrate, but you should be able to know what are the steps involved in migration, so that you'll be always in the loop. And if there is any challenge, if there is any questions, or if there is any problem, you can able to explain to the clients and explain to the technical team in an efficient manner. This is where interpersonal communication skills comes. So accessing needs is understanding where the particular project stands, or where the client stands with that problem at the moment, where the organization stands. So that's one key area. Planning, the second step is planning business analysis. So I shared you example. It's like there were close to tons of data. I was requested to identify the case where the duplication is happening. Q team did their best, and they were able to explain for few scenarios where duplication is happening. You shouldn't be just like they're blindly following what you are assigned, what you are given in documentation. So proactively you should be taking the multiple steps to identify. It's like there's a chance they may have missed out the cases. So definitely you have to test the tool multiple times. Definitely there will be a few scenarios which they might have left out, and try to do a Google search, and there are plenty of tools available. With the available tools you can easily segregate. With the excels, with the macros, you can at least able to understand where the duplication is happening. So after completing this process, I have to put it down in notes what was my understanding during the time of testing phase. In this work, I'm not interacting with the clients. We have already developed a beautiful tool, but unfortunately, it is creating duplicate records. So after identifying the multiple scenarios, and after, it's like our QA team was the one who identified. So you have to put those input. Definitely, you might have had a personal conversation, personal interview session with the QA team members. So whatever information you collected during the time of planning business analysis cycle by interacting with the other members, the QA here comes as an internal stakeholders. So it's like you collected enough information from them. Whatever information you collected, it's like developers may be knowing intentionally. It's like they might they it's like most of the developers will be knowing the issue, but due to the time constraint, they won't be disclosing this kind of issues. So in case if you're assigning this kind of work, you have to interact with them, you have to double check with them why the particular duplication is happening. Not only with them, with multiple people who are involved in the process, you have to get to know and put it as a elicitation information. You have to put it on what you have collected. This is where you have to just prioritize which area. It's like you collected multiple information from multiple people, so you order as per the importance of the work. So there will be at least some dozens of areas where it is triggering duplicate data. So you have to segregate it, like for which crucial condition it is getting duplicated. That has to be put as the very first point while developing the requirements.
Okay.
And then during the eliciting information, you have to mandatorily, the company asks me not to identify the place, come up with the solution to avoid the duplicates. I will explain one small scenario. It's like a customer is purchasing coins from the front end reception. So and he'll be playing. After completion of the play, after exhausting the coins, his record is closed. Till the moment he holds some coins, his progress or his status will be marked as in progress, or or still under progress or playing. I don't remember, it was before. So the moment his chips is getting over, immediately the status of that particular customer will be marked as closed. If the same customer decides to purchase additional chips, a new record will be created. This initially for almost for 6 months of span after delivering the product, none of the people were able to identify the duplication case. We cannot blame anyone. It's like during the time of deployment, they were focusing on the features available in the tool. Reporting is a very crucial thing. In America, many of the reports will be submitted to the government, to other overseeing authorities. So report is a very crucial thing. One wrong mismatching data given by the document to the overseeing authority or the bodies will end up in a deep soup for the company. So this is a very important thing when working with the data. So my role is not only to identify. It's like already QA team has enough evidence that it was escalated. It was escalated by the client about the duplication, and assigned to me. And I asked the QA team to double triple check. I had some privileges. I can deploy any people at the time. So I asked them to double check. After getting enough document from them, I took 2 weeks to test the product again related to the duplication. So this was one and only case which they gave me. It's like when the customer purchases additional chips, the duplication starts. So like that, there were tons and different cases, close to 18 different cases where duplication was happening. So I have to come up with the solution. How to? Here, the major crucial point is what to do with the existing data. It's like modifying the existing production data is a highly very challenging task. Should we fix the existing data, or else or else the future records which will be created should be restricted with the comprehensive record. So these were the challenges which we faced. I was asked to give the solution on it. So it's like rather than I offered a solution like not to do any sort of changes or modification to the existing data. There's a chance there is the though with query we can fix this issue, but taking a risk is unnecessary at the moment. It's just a 6 months of span the company was properly into that application, and making small changes will definitely delete a few important records which is so precious, which is so crucial for them for future reference. So we didn't touch any sort of existing data. And another challenge is when a duplicate record is created, it's like it will be monitoring the time of purchase. 72 records, 72 columns is a very huge mammoth data. It will be calculating, there are multiple games involved in that flow. So every time when he starts the particular new process, it will be it will be parallelly monitoring what at what time he is starting the new game. Every record is properly created, and once he completes one particular game, it has to collect the end of that particular game and status of the game. What was did he win any additional points from that? Did he win that particular poker game? Like that, there were tons and tons of data. So how to comprehends the duplicate record and the existing one? What would be the status if he purchases, if he decide to extend the session after exhausting his chips? So these were the challenges. We have to put it in the FRD document, how to address the column values, what would be the final values. So in action items, we have to explain individually what would be the behavior of the columns, final columns, rather than displaying two different columns. It doesn't stop with only two columns. In some cases, it was duplicating 6 different times. So in case if we decide to display in a single column, what value should be the final one? So should it be the updated value be displayed in the column? So lot of challenges we faced. So this is about eliciting information is putting your understanding in your paper for your understanding. Developing requirements is suggesting what the team should be is what the team should do for that particular issue. So this is about developing requirements. Monitoring control requirements is once you hand over the document to the team, you have to parallelly check if they, it's like this is a much more easier work. Monitoring control requirements, evaluating solutions. So this can be, it's like you have to definitely there while executing they'll be facing some lot of questions by the technical team. So you'll be this is not a challenging part, I would say. When they ask the question, either you have to change the few things in the document, or you have to explain why you made the document. You have to explain the business case to them, why you have mentioned that particular solution in the record document. So
Okay.
evaluating
In
solution is
current
after developing.
organization, do you use MS SharePoint for sharing the documents?
Sorry, come again.
In your current organization,
So
do you
what was
use
your question?
SharePoint for the document sharing and everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
See, at the moment, most of the companies, I think it's like Confluence is the happening thing at the moment. Confluence is a collaborative tool like a cloud document. You might have used OneDrive or a Google Drive document where in a single point of time multiple people can edit or monitor,
Yeah.
edit the document. Same
Yeah.
way, two people cannot edit, but definitely the editing can be whatever edit you are doing will be changed, will be checked with the can your colleague or your direct manager can view the changes what you are doing. So
Okay.
it's
I
like
heard that most of the companies use SharePoint for sharing the documents, editing, all those stuff.
yeah. So this is one example. Another business example, what I can give you is, it's like I was recently assigned to implement a key. It's like a server enhancement to the existing process. That's not an easy thing. It's like at the moment, for example, if a code is being executed, it involves processing the operations which are mentioned in the code. Then after any information or values being generated, that has to be saved in the data. Assume for example in this case I said you about a reporting tool. If there is going to be 70 plus columns, all informations are properly fetched from the server, and that definitely the reporting tool will be having an inbuilt filter for every columns. So if you're doing any small steps to segregate the columns, it has to be processed through the server. The server will be processing plus fetching it from the database. So if it's going to be some millions of data, it will take ages to display the reporting. But this is not the right behavior. Taking some 5 minutes to display a report is a huge backstep in delivering a good product. So at the time, it's like the company requested us to come up with the solution so that they can improve the performance. Money is not a constant here. So it's like I did a research on my own, came up with the queuing engine. Queuing engine is a it's like a cloud-based tool available in Azure, Google Cloud, or in Amazon Web Services. It's like there are plenty of queuing engines out there. It will be that is if there is if this particular report there will be close to it's a query. It's asking for a report is a query. In the query there will be definitely some 40 to 50 different type of processes involved. There will be a lot of conditions set in the coding, some to add, some to send notification as part of the query. So queuing engine is less simultaneously it will be handling multiple process. It's nothing but dividing from one server to multiple server. So if it's going to be a notification means if sending a notification is one process means we will be having a separate server one which will do only triggering notification. Notification involves sending email, sending SMS, or showing any pop-ups. This will be taken care dedicatedly by one server. If it's anything related to database, there will be another server called RDS, which will be taking care only related to the few queries, and doing operations will be taken care by another server. Like that, we will be purchasing or adding up multiple server or based upon the category of the work involved. So it's like instantly, it's like earlier it used to take 8 minutes for generating some close to 30,000 records. So initially we were able to, though they had multiple records, some millions of records in a single shot, we were able to display only some close to some 30,000. I don't remember, something around that band. That for displaying 30,000 records, it took close to 8 minutes. So with it's like I did a Google research, I came up with solution. With this solution, it's like within 15 seconds we were able to display the report. So this is properly delivered. The company was so happy. The time frame was close to 3 months. So it's like my work involved just suggesting what are the tools is available. So it's like in Amazon Web Services, I went through the queuing engine have a lot of things. It's like queuing engine is one type, notification engine is another type. It's like there were a lot of other technical terms involved. So I'm not going to definitely work in it, but I suggested them what are the additional services on top of to hosting Amazon Web Services was offering. The particular product was running in AWS environment, so I had a free access to go through the Amazon Web Services, and suggested my recommend document just had explanation or flowchart how queuing engine work. It took me around 2 to 3 days to put a, it's like a theory sort of thing how queuing it's like definitely no people in the organization had no idea. Even Amazon Web Services are relatively very new cloud hosting. It is in the market for past 4 5 years only. So most of the developers, most of the team still, I would say, most of the predominant working population are not aware about the existing functionalities provided by the cloud providers, cloud service providers. So proactively, you have to do a research. You have to suggest the solution. One thing which I loved, it's like on the time, it's like you came up with the exercise. It's like I think related to the search. So he came up with the autofill. So this is how we should be coming up with the right. If you ask, if you started discussing with the project management team, they may not be sharing this kind of good features. It's like in case if they're suggesting good features, they are the one who should be working on or executing the challenging features. So they, that is the reason we are not are requested to. You can discuss. You can discussing is nothing bad, but understanding or collecting solution from them is a strict no-no from not from especially from developers. So these are the two real-time examples. I would say you might have people what they think is in business analyst there will be, it is most of the work will be related to e-commerce, because in every online or in training people will be giving up with examples related to something payment gateway or e-commerce, because e-commerce is the area where the new people can, that is the trainee like you can easily understand, but hardly you'll get a chance to work related to the e-commerce. Very few companies only offering. It's like at the moment it's a matured industry, e-commerce. So there is a less challenge involved at the moment. Definitely there are more challenges involved, but there is a less chance you will be getting work related to e-commerce. So these are the one areas you might not have even thought about this kind of work. So asking to work on the reporting, if you have a good analytical skills, if you have a good skills related to Excel, if you have some decent knowledge related to Salesforce or Tableau. Tableau is at the moment it's one of the good area where there are plenty of jobs out there. So it's like understanding it, you don't require to be a pro in those tools, but having a decent knowledge will save a lot of time. In That is the reason we suggest it's like they should keep on learning the new technologies. Definitely you don't require to to know in and out about everything related to the tool, but understanding the functionality, understanding how it works will take you will help you in a very long run. So using the available data mining or data analysis tool, you can just like that you can understand the duplicate records. So with the help of my friend, I did a data mining, and he was able to help me what are the places in visually. He was able to explain me what are the places duplication is happening. So it's like you can use your in case if the company which you will be working has some data analyst in your company, means using him you can you can get some report related to this area. So two different areas I explained today, a real-time example. Like one is performance improvement of any tool. This is a very common thing every day, day in, day out. Every company, every application, every software will be facing glitches related to the performance. So these are the very common day-to-day activities which you'll be facing. And another thing is related to reporting. So normally at the moment most of the company wants to harvest the every, it's like even if you're entering some malls, you'll be having some access. Like if you're entering train station, you'll be having access card, only using the access card you'll be entering and or exiting. So it generates, just a check-in check-out machine generates on an average GB of data in a speculated month. For per month one machine can generate some GB of data. What if you could able to harvest those data? You can I can from the data you can see at what time many people or many customers are using that particular point, what age group are using. So this will be helpful. So analytical skill, technical skill strictly no, it's like you're, even I don't have, I would rate myself technically from some 2 to 5 out of 100 even. But at least definitely when some people asks question, developer will be asking questions in terms of technical point of view. At least you should be able to follow what technical question they are asking. In case if they sometimes the development team will be giving you a query, they will be explaining you query. At least you should be able to understand that it's not that much easy. Just by seeing itself you can understand. So technically something close to some 25% you should be knowing some technical information, followed by analytical another 25% and 50% in communication skills, explaining things to the team. So these are the main traits which BA should have. So and the other topic which we covered is the business analysis life cycle, 6 different points which we discussed on the first class, but we today we explained about the real-time examples. If you want I can share a few more examples also. Hmm, what else? Performance, it's day in day out we do. Other than that some adding new features to it, it's like randomly sometimes if you're offering service, you yourself can proactively you can come up with some improvement. You can come up with the recommends even after half completion of the work. So like that it goes on and on. It's like migration is one big important area regularly every company BAs will be working, because most of the companies have existing tool. They really just wanted from to improve the performance of their current product. It's or with the enhancement of the technologies they really wanted to. They're forced. No people want to move to the new environment. They're forced to move. It's like I know a company in US who are using the same billing software for close to 21 years. Currently in recent times, 2 years before we were assigned, they didn't wanted to add any new features. It's like at the moment the tool has become obsolete. It's like currently it is not supported in the computer. With the advancement in the computer, it's not properly supporting. The company who delivered the product is also out of business. So you were asked to migrate the same tool to a newer version. It's like it was developed using using .NET. They wanted to improve the performance with the same functionality. So at the moment we will be coming up with the cloud server and new technologies. Python, Ruby on Rails will work much faster, accommodate more data. So even they didn't even they wanted to use the same UI, just the backend development has to be compiled or done using a new tool. That's not that easy like it sounds. It's like it's one of the most challenging. Migration is the most challenging of anything. The reason is they wanted to use the existing data. It's like we are not going to give the giving a brand new tool is much easier, but you're going to develop a same software in a new technology and use the existing data. It's like every data is properly indexed, and making it to work in the new tool is so challenging. What if imagine if there is a one small wrong data in the tool, so it will completely screw whole of the development team. So that's one of the more challenging. This is a very common thing. Every company is working. Service companies are nothing but most of the companies are offering. It's like initially the banking companies did program using mainframe. Till date, many insurance companies uses combination of hybrid. It's like the old technology with the new one. So every day, every company wants to migrate. Every company wants to migrate to server. Even they want to change from the traditional hosting to the cloud. At the moment, most of the government, this will be helpful to you definitely. If you really want to sell a product, or if you want sell a product or sell a service in a US, means that data has to be in US server, or that the data saving capacity should fall under US regulation. If you want to sell the same product to Canada, the server has to be completely based on the Canada. Only then they are permitted. So the reason is in case if there is any future problem, they can easily collect the data from the regulators. That is the reason every company, even India, even in the current government is asking us to have the server in Indian soil rather than putting it in in other countries, so that government can ask the regulator to collect the information to investigate further. So especially coming to three regions, America, Canada, Europe, the server has to be, it's a must, it should be within the country's regulations. So in traditional hosting, it is not possible. If they really want to achieve with the traditional hosting, it will charge a minimum cost starting from close to 3 million US dollars minimum, irrespective of the tool. Minimum with the number of data, with the challenging softwares, it will extend even more than 20 millions. We to fix this thing with the existing hosting. But the same process can be achieved in cloud just for the cost of starting from $70,000 US dollars. So it's like moving from existing hosting to cloud is the most important thing. That is the reason there are very good number of demand in DevOps cloud computing at the moment. So this is a common scenario. So understanding what are these close to 200 different services are available under Amazon Cloud Services. At least you should be able to understand what are the services. Will it be helpful to during the migration? By default, you're not requested to know those details. In case if you're assigned to anything, any work related to migration, you should be proactively going through those services. So this is one crucial thing you should be knowing. So migration is a very common work involved in most of the companies. So BS, most of the time BS work will be given related to hosting. So understanding the infrastructure, understanding how it is connected, how a database is particularly connected with the server is more important. How where it is getting saved. So that cycle will help you to deliver better in your work. So these are the few real-time examples: migrations, server, improvising performance, data-related jobs. So in data-related jobs, you are the one sometimes is asked to come up with algorithms to improve. Sometimes, not all the time. So algorithm in terms some outline overview information you have to give, so that the technical team can come up with the better queries. So these are the real-time example. Hope you can able to relate the business analyst life cycle with the real-time examples. Do you have
Yeah.
any questions with it?
No.
Okay. The next process is developing requirements. Developing requirements, it's like you shouldn't be stopping only with the FRD. You shouldn't be naming all sort of not naming all documents related to FRD. And you can feel free to use document titles like recommend document, user story documents, FRD documents. So most of the time it's like any new joinee will not be assigned a complete they will not be asked to take care of whole of the project. So a very particular module will be assigned to you. So mostly focus, improve your skills in functional area. Using the right language is more important. It's like try, this is very crucial. This is one of the most important skills, and it's must. You should hone these areas. Try to use the right jargons. So definitely this will be helpful to you. Explain, it's like save time, save lot of words rather than explaining with some 10 words. Using the right vocabulary, you can save a lot of languages, lot of words. So this is related to development. Developing requirements is, it's like automatic you'll start working on it. It's, this is more about eliciting and understanding the needs of the organization. Giving the right solution is the most challenging part. So if you could manage to be good with this part, communication is not an issue. Definitely any people can come up with a good language, good explanation, good speech if they are good with the basics. If I know very well with that particular topic, language won't be any problem. If I lack knowledge in particular area, definitely the challenges arises at the time. I will be struggling to explain, I'll be struggling to even communicate. So sound knowledge on basic concept, that's the reason you should be good in knowing the organization chart, their way of working, their process. So if you definitely, when you work with the service company, make sure that you know good amount of information with the client so that you can come up with the right solution. So this is related to the life cycle at the moment. Today we discussed about the real-time examples. Rest of the topics, last day, it's like day before yesterday, we covered topics like identifying problems that wasn't completed fully, hardly some 25% of the area is completed. Ordering of the requirements only for you for documenting purpose. So how to order, how to work on it, those things are still pending. So in case you will you be available this evening? Like this evening means tomorrow morning for you.
Yeah.
So
Tomorrow,
actually,
no.
I'm available. I'm available for 4 days. So Sunday evening I may not be. Sunday evening IST I may not be available. But next 3 days we can have a one more session in the evening time IST, that is morning time for US. So
Saturday evening, I have a meeting, so Saturday I'll not be able to the evening.
Saturday evening. Okay.
We can schedule that in the morning. Like,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Sure.
So
Definitely.
tomorrow
It is
morning,
tomorrow morning.
see, EST, I'll start to my office around 9:30, maybe 9 o'clock or something like that. So before that,
9:30. Okay.
before that, I'm free, like 6 to
So
9
you
in the morning.
decide and please share the timing so I can schedule accordingly.
Yeah, I'm fine. You tell me like 6 to 9, between 6 to 9 in the EST.
6 to 9. You say that you are available between 6 till 9
Yeah,
EST.
yeah, EST, yeah.
Okay, let's check. Uh, just a moment, let me check. EST to 6 to 9 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 6 to 9. Before 4:30. 6 to 9. Okay, 6 to 9. 7 to 8.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, 7 to 8. We will meet up. Okay, so I will send a confirmation message in WhatsApp also, so that
Okay.
we'll catch up this evening then. Okay,
Okay.
I'll try to. There are a few areas, documentation also pending related to today's title, delivering the requirements. I'll try to explain 3 different types of documents which you should be working, and that isn't technically. So, and other important topics we'll cover. Okay,
Okay.
see you. Yeah. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Any questions, Monish?
No, not as of now.
All good, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. Good night. இல்ல நைட் 2 மணிக்கு தூங்கிட்டேன். இப்பதான் எந்திரிச்சேன். காலையில ஒரு 5 மணிக்கு தான் எந்திரிச்சேன். 4:30.